Welcome back to the Fall of Plaguestone, Episode 5. This is Azmyth Busters, and I welcome you back to this campaign and back to our playgroup. When last we met, our brave adventurers were involved in a bar fight. Short as it may be, the duration was not long, but the impact was certainly felt. And it interrupted a fairly decent celebration. And at the end of the bar fight, a few notable people were present, and some took off during the bar fight. Sir Lawrence, Finnick, and Trin all left during the fight. They once the fight broke out, each of them went in different directions towards the nearest exit they could find. Delma, of course, returned back with the sheriff, Rolf Garley, who returned back later, along with Tamley, who eventually was drawn into the space because of the noise of the fight. So where we picked off, the fight had basically just undone. Bort was doing his very best to try to regain control of the situation and of certainly of his people and try to calm the situation down. He had diverted everyone's attention to, of course, his delicious and favorite dessert, the turnip porridge, the sweet turnip porridge, which, as I said, he had a great big bowl of, and he was just getting ready to dine into it. A few of you, I believe, both Theron and Simon, had forfeited your portions, kind of pushing your bowls towards Bort. And the room, kind of, the energy of the room begins to calm down as the angst of the fight and certainly the aggression or the aggressive nature of everyone, it simmers down quickly, and people are drinking once again, those that are still here, but not in the same manner. They're not engaging in drink and celebration. This is much more of a milking the wound sort of thing, sitting stoically and quietly alone as they do. The dessert was served before the fight began, or in midst of the fight beginning, and Bort proclaims that the turnip porridge here is his favorite, and his portion is about 3 times what the rest of you are dished out. Just a few minutes into tearing into his great bowl of the dessert, Bort begins to cough and choke, as if a man who just can't get it in him quick enough. He is overwhelming his mouth and his windpipe. He plays this off as a bit of indigestion. You're for a moment there, those are closest to Bort are a little worried. You see Tamley like stand up like she's about ready to smack him on the back, and he puts up a hand like, no, he's fine. I'm fine. Just a little of my stomach getting the better of me. Perhaps I'll slow down some as I eat. A few moments later, it is clear when his coughing returns that he is in distress. He begins to turn purple and his mouth begins frothing. Seconds later, his eyes roll into his head and a rumble can be heard from his guts. Mere moments thereafter, he collapses onto the table, shakes for a moment, and dies.
Well, too many turnips will do that. Theron is going to approach him and make an examination using medicine.
Sure. While you're doing that, while Theron is doing his examination, do the rest of you want to do anything? Is anybody doing anything?
Daisy's just stunned.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm backing away from the porridge.
The porridge that you've pushed away from yourself already.
Yes, I'm gonna continue to push it away. I'm gonna get clear of all of this. I don't want to. No turnip stuff for me. Yeah. Backing away from the dessert.
Yeah, I got it. I got a 13.
13 medicine check?
Yep.
Okay. You quickly examine, and you examine his throat, and you see that Bort was not choking on anything. There's no physical obstruction, but it does seem like the tissue around his windpipe is swollen.
All right, nobody drink or eat any more of the turnip dessert.
I'm kind of curious if there's some magic in there. Am I able to detect magic on the turnip dessert, poison dessert?
Do you have a detect magic spell that you want to cast?
I do. It's yeah, I do.
Okay. So you begin casting.
Yeah, it's a range. Okay, I don't think I need to say all that out loud. Yeah, it's 2 actions, and then I don't know which dice. I can't tell which dice it needs.
I don't think you have to roll anything for detect magic.
Okay.
It
Cool.
simply just gives you a yes or no kind of thing. I encourage you to look up the spell, though, so you can see how it works.
Yeah.
And how much distance you can see with it.
I
Bort's
think it's
death.
30.
So you're in the process of casting your spell, like Kira.
Mm-hmm.
Bort's death happens so quickly that no one in the feed mill has a chance to react. After Bort collapses, town folks gather round to see what all the commotion's about, and a few moments later, Delma and Rolf make their way to the table to see what is happening. Anybody else doing anything different? You all just kind of standing there? You're sitting at your place at the table?
So who made the dessert?
Well, who are you asking? You asking Delma?
Yeah.
Okay. So Delma and Rolf are coming over. Rolf is right next to where Theron is. Theron has checked for a pulse, and he's examined the throat. He's feeling around the throat. And Rolf, it's funny. Rolf comes right behind him and kind of mimics what you do, Theron. Like almost as if he's trying to look like he knows what he's doing, but he's simply just mimicking you and not doing a great job of it, trying to make it look like he knows what he's up to. Delma, on the other hand, she has a small mirror in her hand that she puts in front of his mouth, and when no breath causes any change upon the mirror, she looks up with a very solemn look on her face, and she says, "Well, Amora cooks all the food here, but there is no chance that Amora did this on purpose."
You might want to talk to her nonetheless. Where is she?
Well, she was in the kitchen at
Was?
the time of the serving of the food.
Yeah, Daisy will tromp off to the kitchen and said, I'd rather not go alone, just in case.
Yes. Delma's in mid-sentence when you walk away from her. She goes, yes, the dinner was over, and she went home.
I'll go with Daisy.
So Daisy hops up and heads towards the kitchen. Who's joining him?
I hear him. I mean, I hear her say that, but I'm going to check out I'll check out the cooking area regardless.
Yeah, I'll go with Daisy. And who was the server that served the dessert? I mean,
Trin was one of the servers. She's the female server. And I believe the gentleman's name was Ronald.
Are they still around or standing around?
Let's see. Trin left when the fight broke out. So did Finnick and Sir Lauren. They're not here anymore. Let's see. It looks as though Conroll also went home after the dinner was over, not staying as part of the celebration. His shift was over, and he went home to his family.
Okay, so the only one we can question is Amora.
So Electra and Daisy head for the kitchen. Theron, you're still examining the body. Like Kira, Simon, and Desna, what are the three of you doing?
So I'm sorry, I've just been trying to figure out
what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand. So is there nothing that I could do to save him? None of my spells would be able to, because so here's my question. I'm from an undead bloodline, so I know that I have like certain powers. I'm trying to look at the spells right now to see like what I can do to.
Not much. Raising the dead at this stage would take very powerful magic that you do not quite possess yet.
Right.
It is possible, but it is outside of your reach. You are welcome to make a medicine skill check as well, if you would like.
Okay.
If you're going over and giving the body an examination.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I rolled a 20 for that.
And Simon and Kira, what are the two of you doing?
I want to detect magic on the.
Right, you cast a spell. So your spell goes off. The food stuff doesn't really have any magic on it at all. This whole entire area is very magic starved in that even the people here don't have things that are glowing on them, present company included. None of your friends or your companions, I should say, none of your caravan companions are sporting anything magical either.
Then I'm probably going to lean against the wall and look at everybody really inquisitively and not say anything for a bit.
Sure.
I like to people watch just to see what's going down. If anybody decides to leave all of a sudden, maybe I can take note of that. So.
Sure. Desna, what was your medicine roll?
I rolled a 16.
Perfect. So it is clear to you. It is absolutely clear to you that, judging from the signs and judging from the physiology, he has been poisoned. This is the results of a poisoning. Okay. Daisy and Electra, you guys make your way to the kitchen. When you enter inside, the kitchen contains the usual cooking utensils needed to operate the feed mill. There are kettles, skillets, knives hanging from various hooks on the walls to maximize the storage space in a relatively small space. There is a large mortar and pestle that is central on the counter. The mortar looks large enough that it would be difficult even for you to try to move it. It would, require a couple hands to get a good drag on it. A significant piece of stone. There are roasting spits, a sieve, and a butter churner here as well. Of particular note is the kettle of turnip porridge sitting on the counter next to Bort's large bowl.
What was that?
On the counter in the kitchen is the container of porridge and another one of those large bowls, the same style that Bort was eating out of.
So yeah, basically, there's still porridge in the pot, and but does it? Yeah, I'm just gonna inspect it and see, actually I'm gonna observe the mise en place, the cooking station, and just kind of did she clean up? Was there still the ingredients of the porridge being prepared around?
Very fancy. Yes. Give me a perception skill check, would you please? Or actually,
Will
perception is
do.
not a skill anymore. I should not say that. A perception check to investigate the kitchen area.
I am not terribly perceptive.
Electra, you're there as well and can make that roll as well. A perception check.
Okay.
What was your results, Daisy?
12.
A 12. And Electra, what was yours?
Let's see here. I rolled an 18 and perception is 5, so 23.
Okay, well done. There is a little bit of porridge left at the very, very bottom of the pot. The bowl that's next to it is the same size and style as the one that Bort was eating out of, and there are a couple more spoons that are sitting there. That one bowl hadn't been used, but there is a little bit, a good quarter to a half an inch of the porridge at the bottom. Not enough for Daisy. You kind of look at it and you're like, okay. You start moving around the counter. You're looking at the various area. Electra, you come over and give it a check, and you notice that there is an unusual, faintly floral smell in the porridge.
Do I have any knowledge of this? I don't think I have any knowledge of poisons or anything like that. So, I mean, Daisy, there's some floral smell coming from this remnants of the porridge. Do you
Floral
have any?
smell, you say?
Yeah, floral. Like,
Check that out. Yeah. See if I can catch a whiff of it.
Knowledge nature can be rolled once she points it out to you and says, "Yeah, check this out." And you're like, "Oh yeah."
Can you make? I have no. I'm not trained in nature, so am I still allowed to roll in it?
Oh, you can always make a roll.
Okay.
It's just whether or not you can achieve those high DCs or not.
No, I can't.
Yeah. So you recognize the floral smell. You recognize the floral smell, but have
odd.
Have no clue what's causing it. Electra, are you a knowledge nature type person either?
no.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I think we need get like Kira. She might know about this kind of stuff. She's
I could hear you guys from the other room, so
Okay.
Sure.
I'm coming in and I'm gonna go check it out.
They point out the pot.
Mhm.
You put your nose into it and give it a sniff, and you recognize the same floral smell was in his bowl at the table. So you notice that was a little odd. You didn't notice that smell that strongly in his because he ingested all of his. He ate it all. So the smell in his bowl was very faint, but since there's porridge here, you're able to kind of, that's not right. That wasn't part of the ingredients, I don't believe. And if you'd like to make a knowledge nature roll, you may.
And that's a 20.
You rolled a nat 20?
No, I'm asking if that's a 20.
Yeah, D20
Okay.
plus your knowledge nature skill. Plus
I got
your
a
knowledge
2.
nature.
Plus my plus knowledge, you said?
Correct.
Oh.
That's on your skill list.
It'd be nature.
Oh, okay. It's 2, so 4.
So 4. Okay. So you also give it a sniff. You smell the sweet floral smell, but you have no idea what may have caused it. You recognize it wasn't in your bowl, and it was also in Bort's bowl, and nothing more than that.
Very different smelling, but couldn't taste it. Sorry.
Oh, well, Farron's a learned man. Maybe he might have a clue.
So Theron, back in the front room, you've completed your investigation. You've also concluded, with the help of Desna, and that there was no magic presence, no foul play there, and it looks as though Bort was deliberately poisoned.
Well, that's a very astute observation. I missed that, Desna. Very good. I would like to pursue a lead on this. The basis is perception is the base mark, but what I want to do with the pursue the lead is use a medicine to see if I can detect more of what this floral spell is and sort of figure out what's going on.
Sure. Absolutely, you may do that. And as you are kind of beginning that process, the sheriff. While you're investigating the body and you're looking at fine details, the sheriff brings out a wool blanket and covers the body up while you're in mid-investigation.
I uncover the body.
Yes.
We're not done here.
He looks at you with a frown and he says, "People don't want to see that." He's like, everybody over here to the tables. He goes, members of the caravan, out to the stables. I want to talk to each and every one of you as I conduct my investigation of this crime scene. Now, let's move.
I stand up on the table and I'm like, do not listen to this man. Stay right here.
Okay, so I have a question. Why is nobody looking for the person who actually made the porridge? Are they not here? Why is the sheriff sitting here questioning us if there's poison in the kitchen? Why do we need to be questioned? Why does he need to stop his investigation? What are you doing here?
Because I'm the law in Etrin's Folly. You'll do what I say, and you will respect my authority. Because I'm doing the investigation, and I'm the only one who's authorized to do so. Just because he ate something that was poisonous does not automatically mean that the person who made the food is responsible. We will.
Okay, but the person who made the food is missing.
He said,
We're invested. This is the head of our caravan.
He goes, I will interview everyone in kind. Now, please, people, out to the stables with you. The rest of you over there at those tables.
Don't go anywhere.
So the Etrin's Folly people are at least the ones that are still there. They are complying. Delma is still standing here with you, kind of looking wide-eyed at the confrontation between Theron and Rolf Garley. And it seems like the caravan folk are all kind of standing right where they are, and all the Etrin's Folly city folk are complying and moving to their instructed places. It is only Ulf and Ulf who speak up, and they say, screw your investigation. We weren't even here. We've got a solid alibi. If you need us, you'll know where to find us. And the two of them walk out.
I yell to them, dipshits, turn around and come back.
They stop. Rolf kind of ignores you. He ignores you, and he kind of ignores your challenge, and he begins to do his investigation. He pulls out his little book, and he's walking over to the various people, and he begins to ask questions. Where were you? Who'd you see? What'd you know? He's going through the same kind of playbook with those folks, leaving you free to continue what you were doing.
Stupid turnip sheriff. And
Simon, what are you up to? What is Simon up to during this whole time? What's Simon been doing? Have you just been kind of sitting there?
I have been following Desna around most of the time, and laughing at this idiot who's trying to match wits with Theron, because that's rather funny.
So you're laughing at the sheriff.
Yes, as much as possible and as loudly as possible.
Okay. All right.
So can I, since the sheriff obviously isn't going to do anything to help out here, can I do a perception check to try to figure out, maybe in the kitchen, try to figure out where the chef went?
Well,
sounds like
I'm
a good
pretty
idea.
Sure one of the people that was serving us food said she went home.
Yeah, like they do when the shift is done. That's what they do.
She was done working since she left.
Yeah, correct.
Desna, you've been a great help. Come help me with this.
As with the two servers, Delma says perhaps just to keep the peace, you will allow Rolf to ask his questions of all of you, in spite of the fact that you will continue to look into these things yourselves. Correct?
Sure. If he wants to ask questions.
She walks over to Simon, and she kind of flicks your ear. Delma does, and she says, "Have a little manners, man. A man has died today. Your laughing is not well received." And then she gives you a piece of hard sugar candy afterwards. You've seen her do the same thing to You've seen her do the same exact thing to Finnick before, where she kind of comes hard, scolds him, and then gives him a little something. Delma definitely looks upset. She looks flustered by this whole thing, and stays close by you guys. She will announce that the kitchen is closed about halfway through Rolf's investigation. And she tells the other townsfolk who have already spoken to the sheriff just to go home. There's nothing more for them to hear. No more will be served this evening. And they do.
So we're the only people left along with the sheriff?
Delma is still here. The sheriff is still here. There are a few people that are still finishing being questioned that are here. Rolf will make his way back over to where Theron and the group is, and his facial expression looks a little different, but not terribly changed. He still has that kind of slack jaw kind of look on his face, and he walks over to you and he says, "Well, there is no clear suspect at this time, but no member of the caravan can be ruled out. I don't believe that anyone here in town had any ill will against Bort, so it's likely that this comes from, well, one of you or one of the others."
Of course you would blame the outsiders first.
He says, "As my town has no formal jail, I will need to turn this investigation over to the circuit judge, who visits occasionally to deal with the serious legal matters and crimes against the crown."
Wait a minute, you say we're being arrested or detained?
No, I didn't. I said there's no clear suspect at this time, and this investigation will be handled going forward by Lord Mummage Cranberry, but he's not due back for another month. So, well, no one can leave Veterans Folly. You're all stuck here till then, by decree of the crown, by decree of law.
Wait, so you're just not going to investigate anything for a month?
No, I didn't say that. I will continue to ask questions, but the final decree will be from the circuit judge. Unless, of course, well, if you were able to maybe help me get to the bottom of things, then perhaps, well, you could leave if we knew who the killer was. We wouldn't need to hold everyone until the end of the month, I suppose. But that's up to you. I'll let you talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to make my way out to the stables now and speak to the other caravanners. I hope each of you will make your way out here and give me a chance to ask you a few questions. He doesn't wait for your answer, and he walks towards the stables and outside.
Well, that's a big ask for someone who wanted us to immediately stop our investigations.
He's not a problem.
Delma follows behind him after a few pages.
I was going to say, even I know I can tell that guy's an idiot. I say as I look at Theron. So clearly, we're going to have to do this for him because he's incompetent.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I've got the guy's mouth open and poking around and getting a whiff of this floral smell.
I told you about that. You want to go have a look in the kitchen yourself?
Well, I'm gonna pursue my lead, and so using medicine, which I got a 19 on.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna look around just the kind of the main room that we're in, just to see if there's anything that's obvious that would have been missed just because we weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, I was just going to say I want to go to the kitchen and take a look at that, see if I can recognize that floral scent, figure out what that is.
Yeah, you'd find us all in there kind of like trying to figure that out ourselves.
I'm thinking I could use
Desna.
guidance possibly to help like boost somebody's like score on, it can be on perception or a skill check.
So my suggestion is Desna's been very helpful. So I would like to have Desna try to aid my pursue a lead if that's possible. And then if you want to cast guidance as well, if Desna's, that'll increase my pursue a lead to 20. If Desna succeeds and can do that, then it's going to increase it by 1 or 2 more, depending on if she succeeds or crits, if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah, I'll go to the kitchen after. That's fine. So roll my 20 for that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. 18.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it looks like guidance is a +1.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And if I remember right, which I might not be, let me take a look. Is if Desna's allowed to aid me, and for some reason I can't get my Library of Nethys to work right. It's a +1 if she succeeds and a +2 if she crits.
Oh, okay.
But I might be misremembering that. Let me take a look, because it seems like my book is going to be faster than this website.
It's going to be successful either way, but that is a good thing to note. Simon, the dining room has little to be found that relates to the death. It seems like the only thing that occurred here is him ingesting the poison. Everything else must have
Right.
Right.
I just figured, I'm short. I can see under tables. I'll look around just to see if there's some obvious thing that we didn't see that just got dropped on the floor or something.
Very good point. Very good point.
Or any good scraps.
Or
any good scraps, right? Solid. Yes, fair play.
It sounds like the investigation is leading its way back into the kitchen with Theron and Desna and like Kira making their way, and the rest of you either still there or following back in.
Right.
So I have a question.
Circumstance.
Okay.
Am I able to aid Theron for any, because I'm specifically this or that or the other, or would anyone technically be able to aid him? Just curious, gameplay, how that works.
Anybody who's helping out could have a possibility of aiding.
Okay, cool. I just didn't know if there were certain stipulations that had to be met for people to aid in certain in medicine or in this or in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you usually don't, or typically more than one person aiding doesn't help because the types of bonuses don't stack.
Okay.
Although sometimes it's good to try to get multiple people to aid if the timing is right. Just because if somebody fails, if you fumble, you actually don't do it. And guidance and aid are 2 different bonuses, so they stack.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you.
All right. So when the rest of you kind of gather into the kitchen, you discover a few things. The first that you discover is you confirm the existence of the poison in the bowl, in the pot, the remaining poisoned porridge. And that leads you to assess that all of the herbs that are in the kitchen, you do a quick assessment of everything that's here, and none of the herbs that are here match the smell, that floral smell. The 2 of you, if you haven't already, can make knowledge nature checks, Desna and Theron, to see if you can identify what exactly that sweet smell is. But in both cases, both of you are like, yeah, that's definitely a flower. It's kind of perfumey. It's not a real common scent. It's not one that gets used a lot, but it's got that kind of sweet flowery smell to it.
Okay, I got 15. Oh, so go on, Desna.
I rolled a 3, so I probably said, "Yep, smells like flower." That's all I got.
I got a 15.
A 15. Okay. Your 15 confirms that it is not a flower indigenous to this area. You can't nail what it is. You can't say, oh, this is definitely this. But you're like, yeah, you can at least rule out nothing like this grows around here.
That was going to be my concern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't have any idea of where it usually grows.
You don't.
Is it okay?
It's too damn obscure. It's just not. It's not commonplace. It's a pretty obscure smell.
Well, is Simon able to do a check too? I think he's the only one left who hasn't. Maybe he'll know.
Is he trained in knowledge nature? Yeah, he won't be able to.
Dang.
He won't be able to make the DC. Two other factors. There is a cellar door here. And you know how exterior of buildings will sometimes have that funny kind of angled set door on the outside that's framed in stone or something like that allows you to go down into the cellar. The kitchen here actually has a small kind of 5 foot deep or 5 foot wide, 3 foot deep alcove, and set in that alcove on about a 45-degree angle or so is a door set in this fashion, giving you the feeling it is a cellar door. There is a ring. There's an iron ring that allows you to pull it up and out, and there is a slide bar on it, a very rough kind of slide bar that is set in the wood of the door that sets its pin into a hole in the stone next to it, securing it. It is in place. Also, there is a door that is at the far end of the kitchen that leads out of the kitchen, and you can tell that it is an exterior door. It is a split door. You can see the seam of the split in the door, even though both sides are currently closed, and there is a window in the upper portion. It looks like the building is slightly raised above the ground level, because you're not looking out at the ground. You're kind of looking out at the trees.
So is Doma still here with us?
Yeah, she's been here the whole time.
So I'm gonna ask her, Doma, you saw the cooks and the waitresses go home though, right? You watched them leave, you saw them go. It wasn't they disappeared and they went home, but you saw them leave.
Well, I didn't watch them walk out the door, dear, but each of them did say goodbye to me, as they do at the end of every shift, and let me know that they were leaving for the night.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, I hope they got home safely. If somebody were to actually break into the kitchen, if it wasn't anyone, that was in the kitchen already, I just wonder if they're okay.
I share your concerns, certainly. Amora lives in the old orchard, just outside of town. It used to be an apple orchard at one time, and due to the lack of care, it fell upon disrepair. And she lives in one of the shacks that's out there on the perimeter of the town. She enjoys the seclusion.
Should we go over there and check on her?
Well, do you think we should open that cellar door? It looks like it's secure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing in there.
I think that's a good idea.
But by all means, you have my my full support in searching anything. The cellar, the grounds around the building, anything you want. You have access to everything. If you find anything that is locked, you let me know. And she kind of pats her hip where her skirt meets her shirt, and you can hear a ring of keys kind of jingle under her cloth. She goes, I've got my keys right here, and I'll give you access to anything. She goes, I don't think you'll find too many locked doors. She thinks about it for a second. She goes, no locked doors down there. You should be able to have free access to everything.
And Michael?
Yes.
Remind me, was Bort wasn't from Plaguestone, was he?
No.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
he was not. He was not. Bort was from. He never really told you exactly where he's from, but he is likely from the northern Five Kings mountain range.
Right.
Judging by his knowledge and his familiarity of the area and the way he spoke of it, chances are he was a native of that range.
Yeah. Did he have permanent business ties to Plaguestone? Yeah,
Well, they were from Delma. You've worked with him before, haven't you? You all seem familiar.
Yes. Bort's caravan does come through Etrin's Folly. on his path between the two capital cities. The last time they were here, I believe, was 4 or 5 seasons past.
Hmm.
And Delma, how well do you know Amora and the servers? I mean, you know them well.
Oh yes, I know them well. They've lived here for quite some time, and all of them have been my loyal employees. Yes.
In past times when Bort was here, was he very familiar with the town? Did he talk to a lot of people? Did he ever get into situations?
Well, he is a businessman with a gift for gab, so I'm sure he pitched a sale to everyone at some point. I don't believe there's anyone currently living in Etrin's Folly who isn't familiar with him. Maybe not close personal friends, but
He's a well-known name at the very least.
well, known. I don't know about well, but certainly known.
Okay.
She kind of smiles at that.
He doesn't seem like he'd be the sort to have enemies in these parts, you think?
Definitely not.
Well, was. Or was
Yeah. True enough there, Simon.
Well, they had at least
we were
one.
heading into the basement?
Into the cellar?
Is that the plan?
Theron starts to unbind that door.
Sure. Although it is old and the iron is pitted and rusty, it does seem as though the workers here keep it well oiled and well maintained because they need to come in and out of here frequently enough. So even though it looks old, it pops and it slides very easily in Theron's hand. Grab the ring and pop the door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What's Theron's strength?
Not high. He's got a strength of 10.
10. All right, so he gives the ring a good heave, maybe with both hands. The door lifts up, gets about 4 or 5 inches up into the air, and he starts to realize that it's a little bit heavier than he can manage by himself. And the door goes right back down into his...
Let me help you out there, Professor. And
Thanks. So about to say some help here, Daisy.
Yes, and Daisy, your strength is what?
14.
14. So between the two of you, no problem. It takes a combined 20, so 2 10s can each grab the ring together, and you pull and open the door, revealing the cellar below. Down into the cellar, it is 4 or 5 dirt dug and cut steps that have been reinforced with some mortar, and some boards have been slapped down on top of the mortar to keep them in place, giving you a bit of a rise up on it. The wood does not creak at all because it's set firmly into the cementing below. And as you step down into the cellar, you can see that alongside a number of large casks of ale, there are a few old, dusky bottles of wine.
Can we open up the wine bottles and see if any of them give off that same smell?
Sure, you
Start
absolutely
opening
can.
things up. Maybe one of us can recognize the smell from something. Maybe it came from one of the ingredients in here.
Sure.
Does there appear to be a way out of the room that we're in, or is this just a closed space?
There doesn't. This is a dig in. It's soft, moist dirt on all sides with kind of like wood shelving that has been built in. That's kind of there's some boards laid on the floor here on top of the dirt, and then what's holding everything together is some like boards have been towed and been kicked in on an angle in between all the sides, kind of keeping this space sort of like a box. It's normally and naturally very cold down here, hence the perfect storage of the cellar. Other than that, the 4 or 5 bottles that you find, none of them, all of these bottles here are corked and then wax dipped. and none of these bottles have been opened. So definitely, if you wanted to crack one of them, if you wanted to open one of them up, you don't have a bottle opener. And
I do.
Oh, do you? Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, it's showing my holy symbol, and it kind of like breaks apart, and like there's the corkscrew, and
Words for Daisy, huh?
Now you're obligated to drink that bottle if it's not poison, or if you open it to crack that seal like that.
He's got like
That's
a
fair.
butterfly knife corkscrew up here.
So while they're examining the bottles, I'm going to take a step through and do a thorough examination with my quick examination.
Okay.
And that is
like tapping on casks, making sure stuff's full of liquid and everything looks like it should be, and that kind of
make
thing.
sure nothing's out of the ordinary, nothing stands out.
Right.
I have a 20 perception.
Everything is as it seems. You crack that first bottle, you get the wax off, and you pull the cork on it, and it doesn't smell like the poison. It doesn't smell like the sweet floral smell. It doesn't smell like turnips. The reason why this wine is down here and likely has gone the duration without being drank is because it is not a turnip-based alcohol. This is regular wine. This is grape vintage wine clearly from somewhere else, because there aren't vintners here.
I'll take a snort, take a swirl.
Yeah.
Use my lore alcohol. Tell me a little something about it.
Sure.
I'm gonna head up out of the basement. This clearly isn't gonna gain us anything too far other than some alcohol.
A
16. I do the
16.
same.
Okay. Theron and Simon exit out of the cellar. Did you guys want to go out the exterior door and check the grounds, or do you want to go back into the dining room?
Check the grounds.
Okay,
Correct.
fantastic.
Don't go too far, Simon.
So Daisy, this vintage is pretty rare, actually. It is a dwarven mushroom wine, not a grape, as it was first suspected. Although it does have the same kind of look and consistency and even a little bit of a sweet smell. But the moment you taste it for the first time, you know immediately that this is not fermented grapes and it's something else. It is a warm and fuzzy drinking experience that most topsiders do not usually find very pleasing.
No, this is one of my father's favorites. He tried to make this for himself, but couldn't quite get it right. This is a rare treat, Desmond. You should pass the bottle. Let's go take that with us, and let's go meet up with the others.
Sure. So Theron, you make your way to the back door. The back door is bolted both top and bottom half, and then there is like an apparatus that slides and locks the two in place, so you can open them independently or together. It's not locked this way, and it actually doesn't even look like there's a key lock that you can access this door from the outside. You have to lock it and unlock it from the bolt. So you pop it and open it?
Yep, prop it open. Go check out the grounds.
So it has to be opened from the inside.
Yeah, which you are.
Here's my thought.
And I'm following Theron.
So Daisy and I'm guessing, right, we're following Theron and Simon at this point.
Yeah. Drinking from the bottle of mushroom wine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little bad I wasted their nice wine, but so here's my thought. It had to be done during, the bar fight, right?
I think you're right.
The poisoning had to be done during the bar fight because it definitely happened before all the girls went home. They were poisoned. The bowl was poisoned before it was fed to him. And it had to be someone who has definitely known him before and known the huge bowl he's going to get of it. So it had to be someone who wasn't fighting in the middle of all that. Can any of us even remember who was missing?
Right. There was that Sir Fancy Pants guy that left with his friend.
Sir Lauren.
Was it that guy?
He didn't have a friend. He left.
There was also the
left.
one that mean mugged us when we came in.
Right.
He left earlier, didn't he?
Sir Lauren.
Yeah, he left first.
Sir Lauren left as soon as the fight broke out. The moment the very first punch was thrown, he got up. You know, he was the one who was balancing in his chair and being kind of the instigator and being all loud and shit. As soon as the fight started, he hopped up, grabbed his stuff, and went right out the front door. While he was doing that, and you guys noticed this, because I think I called it out as it was happening. You also noticed that the goblin server Finnick was like, you know, that guy like PTSD. He's like nervous and shaky and squeaky and always getting yelled at. He went for the back door immediately when the fight broke out. And Delma followed behind Sir Lauren, who shortly thereafter returned with the sheriff.
So that would leave
Trin also left during the fight, and Conral had already left before the fight started.
So, Delma, my question is, when is that dessert made? Did you guys make it earlier in the night? Is it made all the way at the beginning of the night, or do they make it right before you guys serve it?
She says, I believe the porridge is cooked and stewed over time. I believe Amora started making it this morning, and it cooks all day long to get its texture.
But it would have just been his bowl that was poisoned, so it had to have been
right
during that fight.
Because more than one person ate the bowl. I mean, had some.
Sure. Well, I ate some, and I feel fine.
Maybe not.
The back door was unbolted. So the bolt that locks the door was unlocked, but the door was in the closed position. The bolts that held the upper and lower doors together were both secured. So you go to unbolt the door and it's already unbolted. You just grab the handle and it opens.
So the door's been open.
The door was left unlocked, as if someone had left it unlocked and exited out that door and closed it behind them. Is what you believe happened.
So it was the cauldron that had most of the floral smell in it.
Correct.
So that means either they put it at the very end when they dished out Bort's serving, or you need to have a massive dose of it in order for it to do harm.
But like Kira did say that she only smelled the floral smell in Bort's porridge and not the rest of ours.
Right.
So it must have been just his.
So it was, which is interesting because they didn't put it in his bowl; they put it in the pot towards the end.
Maybe they pulled everyone else's servings out first,
right?
And then put it in, and then pulled his serving out last.
Why not just do his bowl?
Right.
Maybe they were targeting somebody else, but then the only one that died was. Did any of us eat any of the porridge? I didn't eat any. I gave mine to. This is the dessert. I didn't touch the dessert. I gave it right to
a few of you managed to have a bite. None of you feel bad, but a few of you had a bite or two. Simon and Theron were really clear that they didn't have any at all. And Bort had like 5 times the normal serving in that same amount of time. So
in a larger bowl.
Yeah, in a larger bowl.
Right, in a much larger bowl.
Did have a few bites of it. Those of you who liked it, who were being, who were being, who were trying not to stand out by not eating it. A few of you tasted it. None of you feel bad. None of you had to make any kind of saving throws or anything against any type of foreign substance. Theron, if you wanted to go back and check the other bowls to be absolutely conclusive for yourself, you may.
That's what I was
there was a second large bowl.
There was.
Was it full of porridge?
Unused, sitting clean next to 3 spoons that were just sitting on like someone had taken the plates and set them down and then was serving out from there. So it was like the last large bowl that never got used.
Yeah, I'll go back and I'll check the other bowls.
Okay. Without a roll required, you can determine. Yeah, it's starting to crust on top. This porridge does once it cools, and you can kind of scrape back a little bit and give a smell, and you detect no trace of the floral smell in any of your bowls.
Why put it in the pot?
Rolf and one of the townspeople who he has deputized are in the process of moving Bort's body down to the cellar because it is the coldest place to keep him stored, at least for the time being. And they're actually struggling with him, even though he probably weighs 300 pounds. He's stocky, beefy, but that's a lot of dead weight. And at some point you can hear Rolf say, can we get some help? Can we get a little muscle, a little help from one of you, please?
Yeah. Here I come.
Daisy, you're doing it?
Oh, yeah. I got powerful thighs.
I'm beefcake. So you help. And you help them get the body down into the cellar. Rolf will take one of the crates that were stacked up on top of each other. He'll pull the crate down off of the other one, and there's a tablecloth that they throw over the top of the two crates, and they will lay his body down on it and fold one side and fold the other. And they thank you for your help.
And I'll say a little, remembrance for the dead.
So Simon,
Kate and Kaylee.
Yeah, 10-4. Oh, you do a little prayer over Bort?
Yeah.
Nice. Why don't you give me a wisdom check while you're doing that? Simon, you were following Theron to the back door. He opens the door and says, the door was unlocked and just closed. And then you see him go, was there porridge in the other? And then he turns around and he walks back into the dining room. So he's doing that whole search of the bowl thing right now, leaving you standing at the back door. Would you like to continue your investigation out there?
Yeah, I'm going to head outside and take a look around, kind of, do a little pre-scouting. I'm sure Theron will see stuff I don't see, but I figure I can do a little pre-scouting, and report in when he's done. Give him an update.
Fantastic.
If I find anything.
Yeah. So this area here, as you can imagine, this area here looks like it is traveled often. You can see that there is not a path by design, right? But there is a walkway that has been cut by frequent visitation over this area, and you can even see that you can make out that Phoenix goblin feet. You can see that he walks back around in this area barefoot often, because you can see Phoenix little toe nails as they dig in when he walks, leaving tracks behind. You can see the barn, which is set to the back. There's a path that this path I described to you moves between the barn and the back of the structure. If you want to continue looking around that area, you can.
I will.
All right. Make a perception check for me, if you please.
22.
Very nice. As you're moving through this area, Simon, off of this path I described to you, the high grass conceals something that glints at you as the light reflects off it in a certain way as you move through. When you move over to where that glint is in the grass, and you kind of part the grass between, you look down and you pull a vial with a simple cork. The vial is empty, but contains traces of a floral smelling liquid.
This is on the ground?
This was in the ground in the grass. Like someone walking this path just kind of went, whoop, and just tossed it. So it's like it was like 3 or 4 feet off the path.
Okay. I'm not going to touch it, and I'm going to turn around, and as loud as I can, I'm going to yell, Theron!
Okay.
I'm going to hear Simon yelling, and I'm going to run out to where Simon is to see what's up.
So Theron, you're in the dining room. You're checking the last of the bowls. You've just done a spin around the table just because you wanted to be thorough. You wanted to make sure you had all your bases covered here. You test and smell the last of the bowls, and you give Desna a nod. And Desna's kind of standing in the doorway between the kitchen and the dining room. And then suddenly you hear Simon screaming your name.
Well, I light a cigar and head out that way.
Sure. You go out the back door, 10 or 15 feet down the path towards the barn, and you can see Simon standing there looking very excited.
Look what I found.
He's pointing down in the high grass. He's standing pointing in the high grass.
I take a look.
Sure. There is a small vial, a small green glass vial. It has a small little cork that is hinged so that when the cork comes off of it, sort of like a perfume vial, when the cork is lifted off of it, it is hinged and stays attached to the bottle by means of a little gold collar that's around the glass. The cork is off and it is empty. And when you give it a quick whiff, you pick the vial up, I presume?
Yes.
Okay. It's clean on the outside. There is no liquid. It is not. It is not itself poisoned in any way. The vial is normal and clean. You pick the vial up. You give it a smell. Distinctive confirmation of the same smell that you smelled in Bort's porridge.
Well, now we're getting to the ore of the matter. So, what does this tell us, my friends?
That the poison was in the vial. And that I think what Desna said, and you confirmed, is probably the truth, that this occurred during the bar fight. And the other thing I noticed is that there are little goblin feet out here, and they're not my goblin feet. I know because my goblin feet are covered in armor. And so I'm wondering where our friend Finnick is.
Well, not only that, is the poisoner left out the back door, which was unlocked.
Right. And he left during the fight or right after. Right.
We need to find that goblin.
We do.
All right. I think that's a fantastic point for us to break. But before we do, you can clearly hear the loud, deep, resonating voice of Tamley, your caravan second in command, the unlikely backbone of the caravan. And as you've heard her do many times before, you hear her massive hands clap together 3 times, and you hear her begin calling everyone, "Everyone, to me, to me!" This is coming from the stables. And upon that, you all kind of snap your heads, hearing the urgency in Tamley's voice. And we'll leave it right there. Join us for episode 6 next week. Come back and join us, Busters. We hope you enjoyed today. I had a lot of fun. How about you guys? Do you have fun today?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. We look forward to seeing you next week. And yeah. We'll see you same time, same channel, upload Mondays. Bye.